Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, Jay-Z Courtside, coming at y'all today on November 7th. And what a week of NBA basketball we just had. We had some drama. We had some fights. We had some injuries. We had a coach's house burning down to the ground. Prayers out to Big Eric Spoelstra for the head coach for the Miami Heat. Prayers out to him. We have a lot of stuff that I want to cover over this week. As you guys know, we only had one NBA game last night, so your boy has to improvise a little bit. So we're going to be going over the best of the week and the worst of the week, as well as break down the last night's game. We won't spend too much time on it, but there were a couple of things that I noticed watching it last night. Before we get into all of that, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review for all my podcast listeners out there on Spotify and Apple Pod. And be sure, if you're watching on YouTube, the live crew, to drop a like and subscribe. It helps more than you guys could possibly ever understand. And remember, we are doing all of these live. That's right. Not many people do live podcasts, but we are doing them live. So we might have technical difficulties. We might have some glitches. We might be stuttering. You never know what might happen. We are doing them live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern on the YouTube, which is Jay-Z Courtside. On the Twitch, which is called Jay-Z Uncut. All the links that you guys will need will be down below. All right. We've also thrown playback into the mix. Thank you for all the likes on YouTube live crew. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitch. I appreciate all of y'all very much. Now that we got all that garbage out of the way, let's get it going. So last night we had one game. I think the NBA has fully given up on having games on Thursday because there's no reason that we had like 13 games the night before, and then we only have one game last night. And it wasn't even like a big NFL game. The Raiders and somebody else. So when you look at this and you look at what's going on here, right? Last night's game was in Phoenix. The Clippers were traveling, trying to get their first road win of the season. Mind you, the Phoenix Suns have also just got Jalen Green back, their key trade piece that they got from Houston for the Kevin Durant deal. Jalen Green's a young 23-year-old, right? So I have no issue with him getting hurt. His sort of game, you know, he was going to come back stronger than ever anyways. And what a debut Jalen Green just had for the Phoenix Suns. Not only did he have 29 points, he had 3 assists, 2 steals. He was the team's high plus 30. He only played 23 minutes, dropped 29 points. He was a plus 30 when he was on the court. He shot 10 for 20 from the field and 6 for 13 from deep. 6 3-pointers were made by him. That is the most ever in Suns franchise history in a debut game. So shout out to Jalen Green. He did his thing last night, and I really liked what I saw. Devin Booker, you know what he's going to give you. He had 24 points on not really his most efficient shooting night, 10 for 22. And, you know, the more I was watching last night, I haven't really sat down and watched a full Phoenix Suns game before until last night. All I've been doing is sort of like just flipping between channels, you know, watching bits and pieces whenever my games that I wanted to watch were on commercial break. I don't know if I said it, but the Phoenix Suns rallied behind Jalen Green and winning against the Clippers in Phoenix 115-102. The Phoenix Suns moved to 4-5. The Clippers fall to 3-5. We'll talk about the Clippers in a sec. But right now I want to stay on the Suns. As somebody who hasn't been able to sit there and digest full games from the Suns, I've been watching condensed games for the past few weeks. And one thing I've noticed is that Devin Booker is sort of getting defended the same way that Cade Cunningham has been getting defended all season long. When he gets a screen, they hard hedge it and blitz him past the perimeter. Same thing's happening with Cade. The issue with D-Book is that the guys that he's passing to don't really have good hands like a Mark Williams at the top of the key or a Nick Richards, right? But the good thing for Devin Booker is when he drives to the hoop, the offense opens up. When he drives and passes, he's got 3-point shooters around him. Royce O'Neal last night hit 5 threes. Grayson Allen hit 4 threes. Last night, Ryan Dunn also dropped in another 3. They didn't hit too much, but their star players hit their 3s, which was important. I really like what the Phoenix Suns have built. I really, really like what the Suns have built this offseason. They did the best with what they could. They got off the Beal contract. Well, not really got off. They're going to be paying Bradley Beal for the next few years. I think for the next 4 or 5 years. And then they got off Kevin Durant. And I think they got a pretty decent package, all things considered, for an aging Kevin Durant who did not want to be with the team. I think the sun is shining in Phoenix. I really, really do. I think when Dillon Brooks comes back, you're looking at a competent team. Now, I think their over-under was like 34 games, somewhere around there. I won't be surprised if they do win somewhere in the low 30s. You know, they're one injury away. You see it already. Dillon Brooks is out of the lineup. Jalen Green just got inserted back into the lineup. But I really do like what the Suns have done this offseason. Mark Williams, when healthy, is a serviceable big man. He's athletic. He's got a pogo stick on him. He can get up and dunk just about anything. And then you have Nick Richards off the bench who has rocks for hands, but he's not bad. He's okay. Well, Colin Gillespie had a very bad game last night. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. Ryan Dunn like almost caught a body sometime in the first half, but in the second half he redeemed himself by getting this nice high arcing alley-oop. And I don't know if I sound like a casual when I say this, but Grayson Allen, I did not know he could do all of this. In that first half, he had multiple drives to the lane, left-handed, long stretched out arms to get up these layups. I knew he could shoot, but I did not know Grayson Allen was as strong and sort of like shifty in a way, finishing around the rim. Incredible finisher this year. I don't know if I sound like a casual saying that, but I didn't see Grayson Allen do all this. He's shown flashes, sure, but he's doing this stuff consistently now. Going back to the backcourt of Jalen Green and Devin Booker, I think they could be one of the, I think they should be the highest scoring backcourt in the league. They need people to score. They only had D Book. Now they added Jalen Green. I think this could be the most offensively fun backcourt we've seen. Now, I already see Rockets fans talking under the Suns wins on Twitter, and they're all saying, don't worry, Jalen Green next game will drop 8 points. And as true as that might be, I hope that's not Jalen Green's ceiling. Now, I was taught to not like Jalen Green as a Pistons fan, as a Cade fan, because Jalen Green went number 2 in that draft. Cade Cunningham went number 1. Clearly, we see who's better. There's no debate about that anymore, right? Cade Cunningham is the superior player to Jalen Green. But what I will say is the way Jalen Green, the confidence that he has to shoot that 3 ball, shoot those faders on the baseline, that's a beautiful way that Cade doesn't have just yet. This guy, Jalen Green, is just he's a guaranteed scorer. He puts the ball in the hoop. The issue with him is his consistency. That's why the Rockets dealt with him. His consistency is the biggest issue here. I'm a fan of Jalen Green, and I hope he can improve because him and Booker could be an elite backcourt. I'm going to read something that Mr. Burp said in the live crew on Twitch. He said, I think Jalen will have a great year having Booker on the team. There will be a lot of opportunities open up for him as the team shift focus over to Booker. I fully agree. And that's exactly what the Detroit Pistons, sorry, I keep relating it to the Pistons, but Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham, they both have that rivalry, right? Even though, I mean, Cade's just superior in any which way, but not biased, by the way. That's what they're hoping when they get the return of Jaden Ivey. Right now, Cade Cunningham is getting hard blitzed, hard hedged on every single pick and roll. And that's not going to change until they have another primary ball handler, secondary ball handler like a Jaden Ivey. Asar Thompson's good, but he's still trying to gain that ability to be a consistent ball handler, consistent finisher, consistent confidence in him. Jaden Ivey has that. And once the Pistons get Jaden Ivey back, they will look like this Devin Booker, Jalen Green, except way more facilitating from the Pistons. And I think Phoenix fans should enjoy this season for what they got. Jalen Green's contract is not that bad in comparison to a lot of other players in this league. It could be an Emmanuel Quickley contract that's actually not providing anything. Jalen Green is going to provide you points. The focus, the center of gravity is going to be Devin Booker. It was very geocentric having Devin Booker on this team with no Dillon Brooks, with no Jalen Green. This is going to open up that court significantly for them, and I'm excited for Phoenix fans. Now, on the other side for the Clippers, I don't have much to say about the Los Angeles Clippers. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard both did not play. Kawhi Leonard had an issue. He rolled his ankle, and James Harden was personal reasons. So that left Bogdan Bogdanovic to think that he's Steph Curry. And I'll talk about Bogdan here in a second. But I want to start going up and down the line. If your name was not Ivica Zubac, you were horrible last night. Zubac had 23 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. And he shot 8 for 14 from the field, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. And then that's it. That was the only highlight. Derrick Jones Jr. did all right, but he was a minus 25 on the court. It was 3 for 4 shooting. Nick Batum played 18 minutes, didn't get you a single point, 0 for 3, right? I'm going to come back to this name later. I'm skipping over somebody. Chris Dunn had a decent game, mainly defensively, but he had 9.6 assists, 3 for 4 shooting. Cam Christie, 5 for 7, not bad. John Collins, 5 for 11. Brook Lopez, 3 for 6. Kobe Brown, 0 for 2. 1 for 3 from CP3. CP3, I hate to say it, but he should probably hang it up in the middle of this season. I love CP3. I think he should just retire. I don't love what's happening, what I'm seeing out of him. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing from Chris Paul. He's just, the shot that he made was nice, but I just don't like it, man. He's playing 10 to like 13 minutes a game. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term thing here. By long-term, I mean like this year. Now, I want to talk about a couple people in particular. I'm going to start with Bogdan Bogdanovic. I heard the Suns commentators talking about how they were scared that with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden out, they were scared that Bogdan Bogdanovic was going to tear them up. And then I realized, wow, the Phoenix Suns commentators are casuals. Now, I admit, as a Pistons fan, they make, some questionable calls as well. But what I will say about the Pistons commentators, shout out George Blaha, Hall of Famer, commentator, play-by-play analysis. He's just a play-by-play commentator. I'll just say that. And Greg Kelser, right? Former player, coach, everything. They do their homework on analytics. They do their homework on players. And something they always say about Bogdan Bogdanovic, and I'm not even going to take credit for the stat. I had to look it up because they said this. Bogdan Bogdanovic over the last year and a half, 2 years has been horrible to where they're not scared of Bogdanovic like they were in years prior. Now, let me explain. Bogdan Bogdanovic, not to be confused with Bojan Bogdanovic. He was a 37, 38, 39, 40, 43% three-point shooter just 2 years ago. 43%. Last year, yes, he's bouncing around teams. He is. Last year, he dropped to 36% for the first half of the year, and then 30% for the second half of the year. Bogdan Bogdanovic is not a threat anymore. I don't know what happened to him. I'm not sure what happened to him. If he got the yips, if he got something. But so far this season, he's shooting 22% from deep. His literal singular, special thing about him, his specialty is three-point shooting. He's shooting 22% on 7 attempts per game. He's making 1 3 a night on average so far this season. Last season, he shot an average of 31, 32%. So, as far as Bogdan Bogdanovic goes, if he's against your team and he goes crazy, just know he had an unbelievable night. Because so far, his highest he scored in 30 minutes this season is 12 points. So I would not be worried about Bogdan Bogdanovic. If he goes off against you, then you just got unlucky. Because this isn't just a week. I'm talking, this is almost 2 years. And of course, Bradley Beal, you saw him in the thumbnail. 5 points, minus 23 on the court, and he shot 2 for 14. Bradley Beal's revenge game. And he came back and shot 2 for 14. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Clippers overpaid for Bradley Beal as well. And he's not even getting that big of a contract. Bradley Beal can just retire now because he's getting paid from the Suns for the next 5 years, and he's got this contract with the Suns. What a revenge game he just had. Bradley Beal was putting whatever in the air. And he was 2 for 14 from the field. He was that bad. Bradley Beal is just not a good NBA player anymore, and that's okay. It's okay to admit that. It's okay. Can you believe that Bradley Beal got picked up before a Russell Westbrook? Russell Westbrook was sitting in free agency for that long. Unbelievable. Unbelievable things I'm seeing here, man. It's crazy. And people hype him up so much. Now, we're going to move on from this, right? We're going to move on. We're going to get on to our next topic, right? Obviously, we only had one game last night. I can only talk so much about that. I do want to give a little special shout out to John Collins. I see him trying, right? I remember like it was yesterday, like 5 years ago. I remember when John Collins was the man that everybody was hyping up next to Trae Young. I'll never forget that. John Collins' ceiling was limitless. And now it's like they replaced him with Jalen Johnson, and John Collins went to Utah, and all he had was his athleticism. And now he's starting to learn how to stretch the floor. I saw him hit a couple threes last night. Shout out to John Collins, man. Shout out to John Collins. Now, I would like to move on to our next subject. Obviously, we only had one game last night. So we're going to go ahead and do our 3 best of the week and 3 worst of the week. Starting with number 1 for the best of the week, the Los Angeles Lakers. I talked about them briefly this week, but I do want to give them a special shout out. That's why they're leading this segment off. They beat the Heat on Sunday. They beat the Trailblazers on Monday, which was a revenge game because they beat them in the last one. And then they beat the Spurs. 2 of those wins with Luka Doncic. 1 of those wins without Luka Doncic. The Los Angeles Lakers right now are on a 5-game winning streak. 5 games. Some of those without Luka, some of those without Austin Reeves, all of those without LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers are second in the West right now. And Luka Doncic is averaging, listen up now, 40 points per game. Now, he hasn't played every game yet, but he is averaging 40, not 4, 40 with a 0. 40 points per game, 11 rebounds. Do I need to say it again that they won the trade? I don't think I need to say that again. The Los Angeles Lakers so far are proving me wrong. Actually, proving me right. Because right before the season started, right, I said, I think people are underestimating the Los Angeles Lakers. People were not talking about them like they could actually make the playoffs. And I came out and said, you know what? With everybody hyping up the Nuggets, everybody hyping up the Thunder, everybody hyping up the Rockets, the Warriors, I suddenly came out and I said in one of the podcasts right before the season started, I think people are low-key underrating the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's because they have Luka Doncic. They have the best third option on any team in the league right now in Austin Reeves. DeAndre Ayton has proven the doubters wrong. DeAndre Ayton has been playing at an absolute resurrection type year. He's averaging almost 18 points per game, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, a block and a half per game, all while shooting 66% from the field. DeAndre Ayton is being that guy right now. And I love to see it. People wrote him off, but I love to see how well he's doing. Obviously, Jake LaRavia has been an incredible addition to this team. Marcus Smart has been incredible. And I want to talk about very quickly, Rui Hachimura. Bro, people are not going to give you the credit that you deserve. I want you to listen up. Like, actually, listen up right now, because this is ridiculous. I know some of you guys are listening all blindly. Some of you guys are probably driving. Some of you guys are probably just doing some work. Listen. Rui Hachimura for the Los Angeles Lakers this year is averaging 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1.5 assists, 36 minutes per game. Now, this is the kicker. Are you ready? He's averaging from the field 60% and 47% from deep. One more time, 17 points, 60% from the field, and 47% from three-point land. He is having a career year, and I think he's only going to get better offensively and defensively. I think Rui Hachimura is not going to get the credit that he deserves, being teammates of an Austin Reeves, of a Luka Doncic, soon to be LeBron James, and obviously a DeAndre Ayton. Shout out to Rui Hachimura. He's doing his thing. The Lakers won all 3 of their games this week. They're on a 5-game winning streak. I think the Lakers deserve this spot. Some things that I love to see. Oh, things I don't love to see. The rebounding needs to improve. They're 29th in the league in rebounding. They're 26th in blocks. We all knew this. Their defense would be abysmal. We knew this. Field goals attempted 30th right now. That's not good. 3-pointers made 29th. A lot of people did not know that. But they are leading the league in field goal percentage at 52%. They, as a team, are shooting 52%. They're also top 5 in free throws, so that also helps. That's why I have the Los Angeles Lakers at number 1 for the best of the week. At number 2, a team that I haven't spoke about in almost 2 weeks. And that's no disrespect. The Houston Rockets. They are also on a 5-game winning streak. Now, the main reason I haven't really given them much credit is because statistically and analytically speaking, they have had the top 3 easiest schedule to start the year. If they didn't have their first 2 games, it would be the number 1 easiest. They lost to the Thunder in game 1. They lost to Detroit in game 2, and they haven't lost a game since. But let me show you their opponents. The Brooklyn Nets, who just won their first game. The Toronto Raptors, who at that point were playing horribly. They gave up 140 points, same as the Nets. Like early in the year, Raptors versus Raptors now doesn't even count. They're a completely different team. They've realized, oh, we need to stop letting people put the ball in the basket. Got it. Then they had the Boston Celtics. This is, again, before Jaylen Brown started to actually lock in. Then they had the Dallas Mavericks, worst team in the West. And then they had the Memphis Grizzlies, who are on a 5-game losing streak. So their schedule here has been a cakewalk. But Rockets fans won't tell you that. They'll just tell you that Kevin Durant's averaging 24 points. They'll just tell you that Amen Thompson is averaging 18.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, a steal a game. He is shooting 50% from the field, but he's 17% from three-point land. So Amen clearly has improved on his playmaking as well as his ball handle and his finishing. His shooting, not so much just yet. Alperen Sengun, in my opinion, is the MVP of this team. I think we all agree to that. I've never seen a team's game plan to leave Durant open before. Other than when he was on the Warriors and they had to choose between Clay or Curry. But Alperen Sengun is getting tripled in the post and just kicking it out to an open Kevin Durant. Teams are daring Durant to shoot threes. Alperen Sengun is averaging 22.5 points, 10 rebounds, 7.5 assists, a steal and a half, and a block per game. He's shooting 43% from three-point land. 43%. Couldn't even shoot a lick last season. So, yeah, the Rockets are terrified. And I think Durant was a great addition for him. They've won 5 straight. And get this. They're number 1 in points scored, number 1 in rebounds, 5th in blocks, 10th in steals, 6th in field goals made. They're number 1 in three-point percentage right now. And we said this team wouldn't be able to hit threes. They're number 1 in three-point percentage. 2nd in free throws attempted. So, like, when you look at this team, they're all green, baby. They'll be good. They're fine. They without Fred VanVleet, they're still fine. Yeah, they could use a point guard, but they're fine. They are more than fine. And that's why they're my number 1. I just haven't really spoke about them because do you guys care that they beat the Nets? Do you guys care that they beat the Grizzlies? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're a great team, but they haven't really gone up again. They're averaging like 128 points per game. There's no defense being played. Now, for my final best of the week, it is, you already know, the Detroit Pistons. Listen, I want to put my biases aside. I don't mean to be talking about the Pistons as much as I am. I'm really not. But they're a top 3 team in the league. How could I not? How could I not talk about them? I want you guys to understand. The Detroit Pistons are on a 4-game winning streak right now. They haven't been 6-2 to start a season since 2008. Do you know who was on that 2008 team? Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Antonio McDyess, and Rasheed Wallace. So if you do think that I am talking about the Detroit Pistons a little bit too much, Surely you understand. I think they are the winner, one of the winners of the week, one of the best of the week, because they realize something. I don't like the fact that Tobias Harris is hurt. It's a bit more concerning as well, because I don't know if you guys saw, but the Pistons went and got the waivers off of the center Isaac Jones from the Sacramento Kings. He's this uber athletic big man that can play the 4 or 5, uber athletic, like ridiculously athletic. But of course, the Kings let him go. Now, I'd be lying if I said the Kings made a mistake, same as Tyrese Halliburton, same as De'Aaron Fox, same as DeMarcus Cousins, like all these guys. I could say that, but I'm not going to hype up Isaac Jones too much. What's concerning is that took up the Pistons' last roster spot. So now if they want to get Malik Beasley once he's clear from the NBA during all this investigation, they are going to have to waive somebody. My biggest issue here is, why did they pick up Isaac Jones? Is it because they plan on using Stu at that 4 again more often? Now that they've seen, just small sample size, in 120 minutes of Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart on the court at the same time, the Pistons are a plus 22. So I think that might be the front court of the future. Now that Stu is shooting a lot of threes, now that Duren has proved that he can get you in the post, get you on a lob, get you on a little fade away hook, right? Pistons are on a 4-game winning streak, and they very well could be the number 1 seed in the East. This is just unbelievable. The Bulls are ahead of them at 6-1. The Pistons are 6-2. You know, the NBA changes every day right now, so we'll see. Both the Pistons and the Bulls, I believe, play today. Yeah, the Bulls are not playing today. Interesting. The Bulls have had some days off. They've had like 4 days off. The Bulls are playing tomorrow against the Cavaliers. Pistons are against the Nets today. So should be a win. Now, the thing about the Pistons is I am a little concerned because they got Isaac Jones off the waivers. Like, how serious is Tobias Harris's injury? I guess we'll have to find out. But again, the Pistons are 1st in blocks, 9th in field goals attempted, 6th in free throws attempted, 4th in rebounds. The only issue that the Pistons have right now is spacing. They need more shooters. Good teams win against the bad teams, and right now they're doing that. In the last 3 games, they've beat Dallas, Memphis, and Utah. And prior to that, they were all playoff teams. So Pistons are doing their thing, and I got to give them credit. Cade Cunningham, I didn't even talk about him. You already know. I don't need to talk your head off about Cade Cunningham, motorcade. Everybody knows what he's doing right now. I don't think it's really arguable at this point, but I do believe Cade Cunningham is a top 10 player in the NBA. I think he's top 10. And I don't think you can change my mind on that. Watch him. He's had back-to-back games scoring 19 points in the 4th quarter alone. I think Cade Cunningham is a top 10 player in the NBA. And, it's a sight to see as a Pistons fan. It truly is. Now, guys, before we get into our last segment of this podcast, like I said, it's going to be a little bit shorter of a pod, mainly because there was only 1 game last night. I want to talk very quickly about the losers, the worst of the week. At number 1, I have the Miami Heat for the worst of the week. And I'm sorry to my Heat fans that are seeing this live. The Miami Heat had a very interesting week. Very interesting week. First of all, they lost 2 games this week. They're 1-2 this week. They've dropped down to 4-4. It's not bad. It's not bad. They're 9th seed. They're a play-in. This is exactly where they were predicted to be. At the start of the season, they were predicted to be a play-in team. Their biggest issue here is Bam Adebayo getting hurt, still awaiting those MRI results. I've seen on Twitter that people are manifesting that as just a toe injury. I have no idea about that. All I know is they have not released the MRI results. So Heat fans need to be praying right now, because without Bam, you're one of the worst teams in the NBA. So Heat fans, pray that Tyler Hero comes back, Bam Adebayo comes back, and the team can continue pushing. Another reason that it's, again, not their fault. I have heard, the live chat is also telling me that for now, Bam Adebayo is day-to-day while they await the MRI results. So we shall see. And another worst of the week is Eric Spoelstra's house burning down. Obviously, both of these things are horrible. You never want a player to get injured, but this is like an unheard thing that you never hear of. A head coach's house burning down. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. It was actually pretty sad. The more I did a little research into it, like the whole team gathers there, like almost every week. They all get together and hang out at Spoelstra's house. So I think that is very, very depressing. You know, they have a good team, and Bam Adebayo is the star of this team. He's the star of this team. You can't remove a top 5 center in the NBA and expect to still be a decent team. Apparently, the MRI did come back. Live Beezy in the live chat on Twitch is telling me right now the MRI results did come back. Nothing except the toe was found. That's great. So hopefully you can get back. But I have seen a lot of toe injuries that take a long time to get back to healthy. So we shall see. We shall see. That's why I have the Miami Heat at number 1. And I see a lot of people talking about the Charlotte Hornets or like the Brooklyn Nets being losers in the live chat. They are losers. It's not just limited to this week. So they are not included in this loser of the week. Okay? In the worst of the week. They are losers though. Next, for the worst of the week, we have Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. This needs no further talk about it, right? Well, let's just go over it real quick. Ja Morant's done. He's done. He does not want to be in Memphis. He's going to be traded here very, very soon. And the return that they're going to get is going to be horrible. I was listening to my favorite podcast, No Dunks. So check them out if you guys haven't listened to them before. And somebody brought up a very good point on that podcast. And I want you guys to listen up because it's very interesting. Do you guys remember when Vince Carter was on the Toronto Raptors? Vince was like the franchise savior. It's a new team. They got their star. He's flying through the air, getting highlight dunks every single night. Gets them to the second round of the playoffs for the first ever time. Him and Allen Iverson are dropping 50 points against each other. It's a tough series. They lose. The next season, they make it to the first round. They lose. All of a sudden, Vince Carter is looking sluggish on the court, not really trying, not wanting to be a part of the team, starts skipping press conferences, not being positive around teammates, sulking around the locker room. Does that not sound extremely similar to what Ja Morant is doing right now? He flew through the air. Dunk after dunk after dunk. Made it to the second round. Got eliminated. And now he's just year after year not caring. The similarities are actually absurd. And I think Ja Morant will be getting traded here pretty soon. Ja can't shoot. Ja's shooting like 16% from deep. He's not a point guard in today's NBA. If point guards like Ricky Rubio got booted out of the NBA, then I guarantee you Ja Morant's not going to make it here much longer. Yeah, I feel for him. And now you have Jaren Jackson Jr. And I feel like it's very interesting to see like how this is sort of panning out, you know? Jaren Jackson Jr. At least they have him. And I think they do need to make a pivot here and make sure that he is their star now. No Dunks also said a very interesting thing. Remember when the Chicago Bulls had Derrick Rose and he kept getting hurt, getting hurt, whatever. They also had Jimmy Butler, right? They had Jimmy Butler, they had Joakim Noah. They had a good team, and Jimmy Butler was starting to blossom. What the Chicago Bulls did is they traded Derrick Rose to the New York Knicks, and they should have built around Jimmy Butler. We all know they didn't. Right now, the Grizzlies should do that. They should trade a Ja Morant and build around Triple J. I don't think they should trade him. I think he's a great piece to have. They got Cedric Howard. They got Zach Edey. They got a great young team around them. I think build around Triple J and see what you can have. And now for our final worst of the week. I couldn't decide. I could beat on the Mavs. I've beat on the Mavs enough. I've talked ill about the Mavs more than enough this year. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Philadelphia 76ers. And a lot of you guys might be wondering, what? Why? Philly's 5 and then you looked at the record and said, whoa, they're 5-3. Yeah. Yeah, they're 5-3. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they are coming down to earth. They're coming back to earth. They were playing extremely fast. Now that Joel Embiid is playing more, they're playing extremely slow. Every time Joel Embiid steps on the court, this team plays slow like a snail. Tyrese Maxey's averages are dropping every single day. Tyrese Maxey's points are dropping every day. Tyrese Maxey is looking more and more tired because he's playing more and more minutes every single day. And all of his percentages are dropping day by day as well. VJ Edgecombe had his great start to his rookie campaign. That's not to discredit him, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie. Quentin Grimes had a good last game. The fact that you're relying on Andre Drummond to be your leader in rebounding is, that's speaking volumes right now. I think Tyrese Maxey should be an all-star this year if he continues playing at this pace. I think he is turning into a much better leader than he was last year. He wasn't ready to be a leader last year. Now I think he is. Their 3-point percentage has dropped 8% in the last 2 games. They're still shooting 40%, so they're going to get those threes up. They're attempting 37 threes a night. And also their opponents are starting to actually hit threes now. So I'm picking the 76ers because I don't see their schedule getting any bit easier, at all. It should be a bit concerning for the 76ers. I hope for their sake that they can continue being healthy. But as far as being a good top seeded team, they went from the 1st seed down to the 6th seed just like that. It's very early in the season. But I think the slip is happening. Unfortunately, I think the slip is happening. Now, guys, as y'all know, every Friday we have this segment called Friday Toss-Ups. That's going to be all the basketball we have for this podcast. So Friday Toss-Ups are basically, if you guys are in the live crew or just maybe you leave a comment somewhere or tweet at me or email me, whatever, you guys can get to know me better by sharing a story about yourself. And, I forgot to add the segment for Friday Toss-Ups. Do I have the segment on here? No, I don't. Rats. Sorry, guys. I usually had I'm just spamming things right now on the screen. I usually have a header to show Friday Toss-Ups. I forgot to add it. That's on me, ladies and gents. So you guys share a story, and then you can get to know me better by my answer. So we got a few interesting stories and questions this week. So let's get started. B Swanee in the live chat on Twitch said he bought a house at the worst possible time and also decided to pop out a kid with his wife shortly after. When was the last time that you financially shafted yourself? That is not... yeah, that's a recipe for disaster. Good luck, Swanee. I hope that goes well. Hope the kiddo's, happy and healthy. Hope the wife is doing well. I'd say the last time was, I want to say last week, because I just bought a brand new PC, had it built at Micro Center. Didn't want to at all, but I needed one. I haven't upgraded my streaming PC in 5 years, so I had to do that. So I definitely shafted myself there. Let's do 2 more, even though we do have a few of them. Andrew from the Twitch chat said, when was the last time you received a random compliment from a stranger and caught you off guard? I had someone say that our dogs are incredibly well behaved on a walk yesterday. Well, that's nice. People say that about our dog Reiner, and I don't buy it. I would say compliment from a stranger and it caught me off guard, eh? I will say, you know what? Last week at practice, my 3-pointer was starting to fall. In case you guys don't know, I play in an adults league basketball. My 3-pointer was starting to fall. So when I was pulling up for a 3, when I caught the ball at the perimeter, one of the guys, because it was our practice team, one of the guys says, "He a shooter." And that's a compliment. Like when you hear that when you're playing basketball, just know that's one of the best compliments you could ever get. Because if they say he a shooter, that means you need to close in on them and stop him from shooting that 3. So I'd say that was a compliment that I got, For the last Friday toss-up, I'm trying to decide between a few of them because we do have quite a few left. We have quite a few left. I will see this one. DK said, I've recently been getting weekly physio. When did you come to realization that you're getting old? DK in the Twitch chat said that. The realization that I'm getting old was last summer when we moved down here to North Carolina. I unpacked our entire U-Haul. And I had to get a steroid shot in my back because I could not move the next day. And ever since then, I think I have a slipped disc or a herniated disc, something in my back, because it feels like a nerve just won't stop. And I've been feeling that pain ever since. And it's been about 1.5 years now. Twitch chat said all the gray hair. I'm okay with having some gray hairs. I'm 27. And I think I'd rather have gray hairs than just balding. So I think it's great. I think the salt and pepper look is in now. So thank you, Twitch chat, for the insults about my few gray hairs that I have in my head. I have one on my beard, fun fact. But I pluck it every time it comes out. And that's going to do it for Friday toss-ups. I appreciate everybody for all the compliments and stories and questions. So thank you all so very much. We got a lot of NBA games this weekend. I'm not even going to go over any of them. But for tonight, I will look at the games from tonight because I believe it's the NBA Cup. I believe today's the second week of the NBA Cup. That's right. So it's Celtics in Orlando. Give me Orlando. It's the Cavs in Washington. Give me the Cavs. The Raptors in Atlanta. Both teams 4-4. Give me the Raps. Hawks are without Trae Young. Then it's the Pistons in Brooklyn. If it's not the Pistons, somebody do a wellness check on me tonight. Then we have the Rockets in San Antonio. Now, that's the game of the night. That is going to be held on Prime Video for anybody that wants to watch it. That's the game of the night. Both teams are 5-2. The San Antonio are trying to come back after losing 2 in a row, and the Rockets are on a 5-game winning streak right now. Yeah, the Nets are hot right now. They are fresh off their first win of the season, so the Pistons are going to have a tough time. Give me the Spurs. I don't think they're going to lose. I think they're going to end the Rockets' 5-game win streak. Give me the Spurs. They need a bounce back. They cannot lose 3 straight after starting 5-0. And then we have the Hornets in Miami. No Tyler Hero, no Bam Adebayo. I don't care. Give me the Heat. I'm not going to do that to my Heat fans. I apologize to my Hornets fans in the chat. I just don't see the Charlotte Hornets in any fashion beating the Miami Heat. I don't see it. Unless Con Knipple goes berserk. We'll see. And then we have the Mavericks in Memphis. Memphis is on a 5-game losing streak right now. 4-game? I think they're on a 5-game losing streak right now. But the Mavericks also suck. That's tough. That's really tough. Give me the Mavericks, and I think Cooper Flagg's going to have a huge night. Give me the Mavericks. They're going to move on to 3-6. Then there's a lot of games tonight. How did we have 1 game last night? Now we have all these games tonight. Then we have is this tonight? Wait, so the Bulls do play today, y'all. I said earlier that the Bulls don't play. The Bulls do play today. Okay, so the Pistons could become the number 1 seed today. Just so everyone's clear. If the Bulls lose to the Bucks and fall to 6-2, and the Pistons win, the Pistons are 7-2. They will be number 1 in the East. Wow. All right, so we got the Bulls in Milwaukee. Give me Milwaukee. Giannis is going to go for 70. Give me Milwaukee. Then we have the Jazz in Minnesota. Give me the Timberwolves. They're going to have a bounce back game here. They got crushed against the New York Knicks. Yeah. Give me the Timberwolves. They're going to have a bounce back game. Then we have the Warriors in Denver. The Warriors always kill Denver. I'm going to go the Nuggets, though. They're home. They got the elevation advantage. And they got Nikola Jokic averaging 24 points, 13.5 rebounds, and 12 assists. And then we have Thunder in Sacramento. Give me the Thunder. Sorry to the one King fan out there. And that's going to be today's pick'ems. Again, if the Chicago Bulls lose tonight and the Pistons win, they will be rated number 1 Oh, no Steph Curry for the Nuggets. That's right. He missed the last game. Yeah, give me the Nuggets. Give me the Nuggets every day of the week. Give me the Nuggets every day of the week. If the Pistons win tonight and the Bulls lose, the Pistons will be your number 1 seed in the East. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up the week. I saw somebody ask me, are we watching the games on playback tonight? Absolutely not. This week has been exhausting for me, and I will not be on playback tonight. I don't really want to tune into the Pistons Nets live in front of you guys anyways. I just want to relax. I've had a very, very jam-packed schedule this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing left to say. Be sure to tune in next week on Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Tune in live as well, because you guys know we do these live. Not a lot of people do podcasts live, but we do them live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. All right? All the socials, all the links will be down below. I got nothing left to say, y'all, except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, leave your 5-star ratings and review, podcast listeners. If you're on the YouTube, drop a like, subscribe. Thank you for watching / listening, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. See you Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern.